Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig, and today we're doing a very live post-Oscar show. This is very exciting. We literally just left watching the Oscars. I am joined by my friend Johann. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
So good.
So good.
Kind of mad. But
Kind of mad.
Okay.
We have a lot to talk about. We just wanted to give out the special episode. So I thank you for watching the Oscars and then joining me on this podcast. It literally just finished.
Anytime. Once a year anytime.
We're releasing this on Monday here as you're listening to it, but it is Sunday, 9 p.m. We just finished watching it, so we're going to give our thoughts here live. First of all, Johann, what'd you think tonight? What's your first thoughts that come to your mind?
Immediately, my first thoughts are not as good as last year. I thought last year was a good, tight, was it like 3-hour show?
Yeah.
I thought the jokes last year mostly hit. Not that the jokes didn't hit this year, but like it was just long again. It went back to the overly inflated Oscars that it was before.
So it was
still good.
It was 3 hours and 46 minutes approximately this year. Last year, I don't know exactly what it was, but I will say it was shorter last year. We also know, because I turned to you as we were watching it, it was 30 minutes in, and we had done a couple musical performances, opening monologue. We hadn't given an award after, and we started on time this year. Whereas last year, Jimmy Kimmel came out and was like, "We're actually 5 minutes behind." Like,
I remember last year when it ended, being like, "Oh, that was quick and easy." And easy might not be the best word, but it was quick and it was done, and it was like a good amount of time. Where every year prior, and then again this year, it was like, this is so long. And they even they made jokes about it last year. They made jokes about it this year.
They make up jokes every year.
But like last year they made jokes about it, but then it was still short.
Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
Oh well. So, okay, we went into this. If you listen to the previous episode, I had Adam from SIF on. We chatted about our predictions. I didn't do so well this year. Before we really get into who won and our thoughts and everything, how did you do with your predictions this year?
I got 11 correct?
Yeah.
I did the same as you?
Yeah. You and I both got 11 out of 23 correct. Not bad.
Not bad. Could have been better.
Could have been better.
There were definitely a few awards that I should have thought about more, or there was something that I knew who was probably gonna win, but I was like, I'll just pick someone else just in case, just because I think it's fun. Not that, and then
I think we all do that, and because we're trying to be like, all right, we have to win, we have to beat other people, so we have to choose those other ones.
But it's the Oscars and not like sports betting, where it's like, we'll pick the underdog team.
Okay, so let's go through some of these things real quick. Conan O'Brien, how do you think he did?
I loved it.
He did so good. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because Jimmy Kimmel has hosted 4 or 5 times over the past 8 years. He's hosted a lot. So
yeah, I think Conan did a great job. I think all of his jokes were good. Mm-hmm. I really liked the bit he did with Nick Offerman as the announcer, where they were kind of talking back and forth. I really liked.
Yeah.
His fake ad for, what do you call it?
Oh,
screen or something. I thought that was good. His song at the beginning about not wasting time was funny.
Yeah.
Which then went on to wasting time. And then he also wasn't his presence wasn't overbearing. It wasn't like they had the host there after every commercial break or between every award. He was there for it was just enough amount of
we saw him the right amount of time. Yeah. And as a host on what should be a 3-hour award show, he did the right amount of being there.
Yeah. And there's definitely been times in the past where they've had hosts that are there constantly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was the right amount of host, a right amount of humor, and I did actually not. It wasn't a joke, but him talking about like it was related to the fires and how the it's not just um yeah, it's not just like the A-list celebrities that you see. It's the
Yeah,
people behind the scenes that you see that live in LA who are affected by this. And like I liked that he brought attention to people not on screen and
yeah.
not like the directors and the the big names.
I will say it probably is my favorite joke of the night. I thought it was so good. Was the Joker 2 joke? I have to say
Absolutely.
that was the best. But he had so many great ones, and then when we had the like uh Estonia or whatever the country was, like,
Your move is
yeah, and then he did it again. He's like,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Just don't think about it. I thought he did a great job. So, nominations turn to winners. There's no surprise. Amelia Perez did not win a lot on things tonight.
Not surprised at all.
They had 12 nominations and they did not do
13
well.
nominations.
Yeah, yes, and they just
The only one that won was Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana, and
Oh, the song as well.
the song,
Which I think Zoe Saldana was the best part of that movie.
Mhm.
I also don't think any part of that movie was good.
So Zoe Saldana. What's interesting, and we're gonna chat about Demi a little bit later. Zoe Saldana, I guess, kind of was the Demi because I thought Demi was gonna win as a like, well, you put in the work, but Zoe has, and specifically with things like Avatar and Guardians and green screen CGI stuff. So I think maybe she actually did get the Jamie Lee Curtis win tonight, but my focus was on Demi.
The Jamie Lee Curtis, as in like
She
this isn't the award, like you deserve an Oscar, but not necessarily.
she did not deserve the
like
Oscar.
Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio is a great example of that as well. But yeah, no, I'm not surprised. Are you surprised with how much Honora won tonight?
I am.
Because what did you say for Best Picture?
I thought Conclave was going to win Best
I thought
Picture,
that too.
just based off of the SAG.
Yeah.
And
They weren't winning
it
anything
win?
else. They
what won at the Golden Globes?
they won a couple things.
Whatever. I didn't think Honora was going to win Best Picture. I liked the movie, but I didn't think it was necessarily as groundbreaking as people made it out to be. I'm surprised it won Best Picture. I'm not surprised it won Screenplay or Director. I'm like a little surprised that Mikey Madison won Best Actress. I thought Demi would win.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That is this. I think that's the biggest shock of the night for me. It didn't. I thought it was going to be Demi.
Mm-hmm. I thought she had a lock on that.
Mikey did a great job, but Demi has won so many awards. Mikey did a fantastic job, but I thought they were going to give it to her.
I absolutely thought they were going to give it to her. Yeah, I
chose Chalamet for Best Actor after the SAG because of the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Adrian Brody real quick here because his acceptance speech went on way too long.
They played him off twice.
Yeah, and he tried to make it have a point and be like, "Don't play me off. Let me do this."
And then he didn't have a point.
He didn't have a point.
He just kept going.
I
don't know how I don't know. I'm not like mad he won Best Actor, I guess.
No, he did good job.
The only reason I'm mad is because I didn't pick him on my ballot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think he's a good actor. He deserves to win the award.
Yeah.
Realistically, I would have loved to see Sebastian Stan win the award.
Sebastian Stan did so great. There was no way he was going to win, especially because it would have been too political.
I think
Doing
it
a-
too controversial for the
Doing a
Oscars.
douchebag role of the current sitting president.
Yeah.
But The Apprentice is such a great film. Him and Jeremy Strong did fantastic.
I love Jeremy.
And I do wonder if Trump wasn't president, or if he wasn't running again, or if this was a few years later, how this movie would have done.
Like if that movie came out like 5 years from now or something.
Yes. Yeah. Or during when Biden was
Yeah,
president.
within the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, maybe it would have done better, but it's just as good as that movie was, it doesn't necessarily feel like an Oscar bait type movie.
Yeah.
Like an Oscar winner, I guess. A lot of the Oscar movies often are kind of boring, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Not that I dislike them.
No.
A lot of them are very just like serious.
Yes.
And The Apprentice wasn't that serious.
Yeah. Well,
It's the same reason that like horror never wins.
Yeah,
It's like
so-
it's not a thriller or a drama that
like,
thriller, like just a drama that
you have Wicked was such a different film. Makes sense it was nominated. I knew it wasn't going to win Best Picture.
No.
The Substance was super fun and different, but it was a horror, and I knew it wasn't going to. And then even like Dune Part 2, I knew wouldn't win Best Picture because it was too...
too much of a blockbuster.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like Mad Max Fury Road,
Yeah.
where it won, or at least like Mad Max won, even Dune Part 1, I guess, they won like all of the technical awards, like
Mm-hmm.
CG and costume and makeup and blah, 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 blah. But then they don't win Best Picture.
And then Amelia Perez, I just knew when, after everything that came out, and I actually, even before the controversies came out, I assumed it was going to be one of those films that got a lot of nominations and was not going to win stuff.
Yep. I mean, after watching that movie, I'm surprised it got nominated for anything at all.
Yeah. Tell me, how do you really feel about
I
Amelia Perez?
hated that. I so I'm watching it and I'm like, whatever. I don't really know what's happening at the very beginning. And then they start singing and I'm like, I forgot this was a musical.
Yeah.
And then they keep singing and none of the songs are that good. And then
Penis to Vagina.
Penis to Vagina. Why wasn't that nominated for
What?
best song?
That should have been the winning thing right there. What
Yep.
song mentions penis to vagina?
The Oscar for most penis in a song goes to.
I'm sad nobody mentioned it.
I'm surprised there were no jokes about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I thought that movie was bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I don't know if it's like I miss something and like most of the audience miss something and the critics get it because like it's
Yeah.
Rotten Tomato score is like 80 something percent for critics and then like 20 something percent for audience. And I don't know if I'm missing something or if the critics are just like, it's about trans people. We're gonna
Yeah.
pretend we like it.
We were saying this before. I think the story's such an interesting story idea. I think there's a lot of cool stuff with it. I'm not sure if the music helped or hinder it, but it just this like I
I
don't
think the music helped.
I don't think it should have been. I think it should have been talked about. I don't think it should have been nominated for as many things. Maybe a couple things. Because, like, I was like Zoe Saldana was great, but I don't even know if
But
this is not her best role.
my thing,
She was better in Crossroads.
my thing about Zoe Saldana in that movie is I don't think she was necessarily that good. She just stood out because everything around her was terrible.
Yeah.
So it looked like she was a good actress. Not that that made it sound like she's not good. She is good, but I just think other people I think she's had better roles. Like even
Yeah.
her very minor role in the first Pirates movie was, I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
better than this one.
I forgot. I always forget about that one.
Yeah, that's the one I always keep in the back of my mind for
Yeah.
like random trivia to throw at people to make, make myself feel better about knowing the one extra role that she has.
So Zoe was that one guarantee, the only other guarantee for the night, and it happened. Kieran Culkin,
Mm-hmm.
a real pain.
I love him.
He's so good. I mean, he also just played himself though. Like as you see him more in these, like as I see more of him, like you were just playing yourself. But it did a great job. I'm actually surprised Real Pain didn't win more things because I did think it was a really strong thing. It won original screenplay in at the BAFTAs. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe he'll win it. And Jesse Eisenberg even said when he won the award at the BAFTA, he was like, okay, maybe I'm like talented and considered good over at the UK, which is great. But it was the only thing A Real Pain won. And it was
it really nominated for the two? I'm like looking at the list right now.
Yeah, I think it, oh yeah, it didn't even get Best Picture.
Yeah,
But like
it's original and
it's
supporting actor.
It's
original screenplay and supporting actor.
Of all the films, it's one of the few just very basic human stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything else, like even like I love
so grand.
Yeah, like even like Sing Sing, I loved it, but it was also about like prisoners. Like it was a whole different thing. This was just about two
real
two cousins,
just like two people doing.
Yeah,
not like.
Yeah.
There's always that one movie that's about people versus like this whole big, historical thing or like this super. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
but important things versus more grounded. That's the word.
Grounded. That's it. Also, we have to chat about. We had two tributes that I can remember. Maybe there was a third one.
James Bond.
We had a James Bond one that made no sense, and we had
was the Quincy Jones one
and the Quincy Jones one, but we had the James Bond had a weird moment where someone who's not in the James Bond movies was in the dance sequence for like 30 seconds. Megan Qualley, from The Substance.
Margaret.
No,
Qualley.
Yeah,
like her name.
This is when I said we were doing this live right after the Oscars. I'm not lying. Like we just left there.
Margaret Qualley.
Yeah, Margaret Qualley. For no reason.
She was dancing.
No reason. Our buddy Andrew, who was sitting with us, was like, Andrew Tuck and Rolls podcast. He was like, if we were like, are they in the new James Bond? No, we haven't revealed anything yet. We don't know who James Bond is. So we had that. Cool, but it made no sense, especially since this new Amazon purchase.
Yeah, it was one thing to do the tribute where they brought out like the three singers to do the songs and like had this dance sequence. But it was like, why is she there?
Yeah.
She hasn't been in a James Bond movie as far as I can remember.
No.
Like if they brought out
Bring a bunch of why not have a bunch of
Green?
Yeah, why not have all the living Bond girls out for that? You only have Halle Berry introduce it.
I don't remember her name, or I think Anna de Armas was in one of them, and
I mean,
whose name I forgot.
You also have like more newer ones. You had
they should have brought Judi Dench out instead of Halle Berry.
Yeah, Denise Richards was a Bond girl. She's still alive.
Wasn't Oh, this is gonna bother me.
Alan Cummings was a villain. Why not have Alan Cummings?
Oh,
he's
right.
rocking it with traitors, like not like and then you have the Quincy Jones tribute, and they chose the Wiz song. Like it just
I assume he did the Wiz.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense. The tributes are always weird. We also chose to have, and again, like it is the Oscars, and I understand we're television, people don't care about everything. But we decided to spend a little bit more time on the best costume design. So then we had everybody giving a speech to the nominees from their movies, which was Bo and Yang crushed it.
Bo Yang's always great.
And John Lithgow, apparently our new Dumbledore, uh,
Weird, but yep.
he was so great in both of his, like, Conan's bit.
Oh, when he was looking disappointed.
Yeah, and
I wish at least once
I was
they cut to
hoping.
him
Yeah.
being disappointed, but they just showed him during Conan's bit, and then Kieran Culkin referenced it, and then never.
Never again. Yeah. It's a shame because it should have happened.
Anytime they started playing someone off, I was like, please
Please.
cut to John Lithgow looking disappointed.
So overall, with the wins tonight, are you happy? Do you care? Like, you mentioned these films, they're a little bit different. You do have two very big films, Wicked and Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah. Big blockbusters.
Big blockbusters.
It's always nice to see like these huge movies that are like actually successful
And they both
show up in the Oscars.
They both won.
Or these Oscar movies show up.
Yeah.
Should be successful, I guess.
They both won in technical stuff.
Yeah. As most blockbusters do.
Yes.
Usually when they are nominated.
But everything else, like, what are your thoughts as we're sitting here? We just finished watching the Oscars.
Specifically about Dune and Wicked?
No, just
in general?
Yeah, just in general.
I think overall everything was nothing felt like it was snubbed, I think. Other than like I haven't seen it, but is it what's it called? Challengers? The tennis one?
Oh yeah.
I heard a lot of people say that should have been nominated for like score and some acting awards.
It is crazy that one didn't get anything after it was such a big
for sure.
Like it was gonna get stuff.
But other than that, like just based off of the nominees, I think everything deserved what they won. I would have liked to see Nosferatu get a couple more awards. Like I think let me just look at the list here again.
I just realized, thinking back on everything, when The Substance won for
makeup,
that should have been my tell that they weren't going to win anything else.
Nosferatu or Substance?
The Substance.
Fair,
when The Substance won their like technical award, that was you're not gonna. But now you can say you're an Oscar-winning film.
Yeah,
but I was like, damn it, you're not winning to me. Like, which was the only one I thought it was gonna win. I didn't think it was gonna get director or best picture. Like,
yeah, it would be a lot more interesting to do. I mean, it's harder to do in the setting that we were watching it in, but doing like a more live, like calling the awards live.
Yeah,
because at that point, having The Substance won best makeup, maybe I would have switched the best actress award. Probably not, but like you said, at that point, maybe been like, oh, maybe it's not going to win anything else. But going back to Nosferatu, I think The Substance deserves the award, but I think Nosferatu could have won the best makeup award.
Yeah.
Same with production design. I do think everything in the production design category did a very good job. I would have liked to see something other than Wicked win there, just because Wicked won so many other things.
Wicked won a lot more awards than I thought it was going to win.
Same. I thought it was going to like win for. I was like costume is most likely going to win for. The makeup I could see it winning for, but like I wasn't. It was like it'll probably give it to makeup. It was like maybe they'll give it to Wicked, but I would like it to see it go to something else. And then production design. Not that Wicked didn't deserve it. I just think one of the other, like I think Nosferatu or Dune should have got it realistically. Yeah. And what else is there? What other awards exist?
I mean,
cinematography. I didn't see the Brutalist. I didn't have 3.5 hours to watch.
Yeah.
Cinematographer is LOL Crawley. LOL Crawley. Is that a typo?
No, I think that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, it probably had good cinematography. I don't know. Maybe I should have watched that movie. maybe I will as soon as I
It is
watch
lol. It is lol crawling.
Okay. When I can watch it at home,
British.
sure.
Their first name is Lori,
Okay.
but they go by lol.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at Google. You Google it. It just shows
When I googled
it has those.
when I googled Sean Baker earlier, that little star thing. Yeah, when I watch The Brutalist at my house where I can pause it
Yeah,
and I don't have to pay $25 to own it digitally, then I will watch it.
that's fair. So we had Adam on from Sif to
Shout out.
make our predictions.
Shout out
Thank
Sif.
you, Adam. Thank you, Sif. And one of the things he brought up, so I want to ask you about this as we start to wrap up here. He said, and I was like, that's a smart point. He feels that because they split Wicked, it really screwed up their possible wins.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Next year, will Wicked Part 2 possibly take a lot of more wins, and maybe it might be Cynthia and Ariana? I mean, we have no idea what's going to come out in the next year. But do you think Wicked Part 2 could win more Oscars than Wicked this year?
That's an interesting point. I could see them, because it was broken into two parts, I could see them giving Cynthia and Ariana the awards next year.
Yeah. Because it makes sense that you're like, no, we got another thing.
Yeah. Because, like, on the one hand, it'd be weird to give them the awards for part 1 and not part 2, but, like, it would make more sense to give them the
because there
awards
should be more bigger heart
Yeah.
dramatic moments in the second.
Because giving them the awards for part 2 almost feels like giving them the awards for both.
Yeah.
And I thought, I mean, I was surprised how good Ariana Grande was in Wicked. I think she deserves the award over Zoe Saldana.
I would agree with that. I loved her in Wicked.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite performances of the year, if not in the past decade.
In a long time. Yeah. I thought she was so
adored her. And I'm just like, whatever with her, but she was so good at it.
And yeah, I won't get too far into it because I could go on for ever. I could see Wicked Part 2 not winning as many technical awards, but then winning the acting awards. And maybe Best Picture, depending on what there is. Probably not. I know there's a new... Well, actually, I don't know. I was curious about what the next Damien Giselle movie was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And it said something in 2025, and then I couldn't find any other information on it. It was just like the Google AI giving me that info, so who knows?
It's been weird the past couple of years where you could Google, like we could all Google right now, possible Oscar nominations for the 98th Academy Awards. It's been so far off. Like nobody's been able to predict them in the past few years. So we'll see what happens.
Since the La La Land incident.
Yeah. La La Land. All right, as we start to wrap up here, I always like to ask what's awesome. You know this. But I want to ask you specifically, what's awesome about movies, or what's some awesome movies you want to recommend to people?
Ooh. Awesome movies I want to recommend to people. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me check my letterbox to see what movies I watched recently.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff happening. This year has been pretty good.
I want to shout out something that wasn't in the Oscars, because obviously those have already had their big moments. So let me check my films. Ooh.
Check them films.
Okay, so this was an Oscar nominated short film.
Okay.
The documentary, what was it called?
The Instruments of a Beating Heart.
Yeah.
You love that one.
I thought it was adorable. It was probably my favorite of the shorts. I didn't think it was going to win, but like I really liked it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know. All my recent movies have been Oscar movies.
That's fair. There's been a lot of Oscar things going on.
And then even, mm,
Is there any?
you know what? I'll shout out a movie that I don't think anyone has access to watching right now. Micro Budget, which we watched at SIF, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
It's about people making a movie with a very small budget in LA, and it features a few big actors.
Yeah, it was really good.
I thought it was really good and really funny, and I wanted to rewatch it recently, and it's not available anywhere. It still has, I think they're still doing screenings at like smaller places around the US, and hopefully it appears somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was really tempted to like reach out to the creators and be like, hey, when can I find this, like on a Blu-ray or like on streaming, because I want to watch it again, but I haven't done that. So
I should reach out to them and see if they come on the podcast, because it was great. Micro Budget was great.
it was so good.
All right, as we start to wrap up here, final question. What are your overall final thoughts of the 97th Annual Academy Awards hosted by Conan O'Brien, winner Anora for Best Picture, and several other things? What were your thoughts? Final thoughts.
It was good.
Yeah.
Overall good.
Almost 4 hours.
Not my favorite Oscars, not my favorite set of awards. I don't think anything, like I said, I don't think anything really got snubbed necessarily.
We had no
Surprised Anora won Best Actor, Best Picture.
Yeah.
But overall, I think everything that got the award deserved the award.
When I wanted to do this, and I was like, let's do a last, like right afterwards, I want to talk about it. I knew it would be fun and interesting, but I also thought, well, something's going to happen. Nothing crazy happened at this year's Oscars.
Yeah, it was relatively tame.
There was
No big upsets.
No
Will Smith.
No Will Smith. No Adele Dazeem. No Moonlight. La La Land.
The one thing I am disappointed in was at the very beginning when they were doing, when it was Cynthia and Ariana doing the song from Wicked.
Yeah.
I do wish that not either, but like I wish they did the whole song instead of just like the last verse. And I also wish they had the two original girls from Wicked come out and do the song too. Like have them like maybe do like Cynthia and Ariana started, and then suddenly like from off stage they hear someone doing it, and it's like, oh, it's
Adina and Griffin. Yeah. I will say, look, those were two powerhouse performances and singers. They're fantastic. There was no need for 3 songs. You either just do them duetting Somewhere Over the Rainbow to honor Wizard of Oz, or you both just do Defying Gravity.
I agree.
I don't even know what song Cynthia sang.
I was about to say they did Somewhere Over the Rainbow, something else, and then they did the last verse of Defying Gravity, which Ariana had 2 lines in.
Yeah.
They could have just done. They could have opened with like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, done like the first verse and chorus, and then switched to Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
They could have done so many different things.
Oh well.
Oh well. Well, Johann, thank you for watching the Oscars with me.
Thank you
Second
for
years
hosting the Oscar watching party.
Anytime. Well, once a year. Thank you all for listening and joining us for this very special live look post-Oscar show.
On Monday?
On Monday.
Monday
morning. You're listening to it. Maybe you're listening to it a different day, but it's out now. Thank you all so much for passing time with me. Passing time with my friend Johann. He'll be back for another one. This is your second appearance on my podcast.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Suck it, Allison.
Suck it, Allison. Follow me on social media at PTW Craig. Passing time with Craig on Facebook and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.